All right. Good morning, folks. We are live here. Top of the morning. I hope you guys are all having a good morning so far. We're back. I had to take a couple of days off. Unfortunately, we did not get banned, as we were joking about a couple of days ago, but I think the universe did have a way of telling me I went too far with some of my jokes I made. Literally the next day, I got hit with a really rough spout of food poisoning and it's been a rough couple of days, but we're back. I feel like back and better than ever before. I've never had food poisoning before, and that was miserable. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It's like a hyper flu. It's I'm sure some of you guys have had it before, maybe most of you guys, and I'm just I've gotten lucky, but it felt like having a week's worth of the flu in like 1 or 2 days. So I feel like I'm back and ready to go, but that was no fun. So give me just a second. I'm setting something up real quick. Go. Our hotel's Wi-Fi ain't good enough for stocks to trade. I'm thinking of taking the day off of day trading, which means more time to troll Bryce. I love it. I love that. Anything good on watch today? Yeah, we'll be talking about that here in just a moment. All right. I think I broke something. One moment, guys. Sorry, I'm doing like 4 things at the same time right now. Okay. So, today, main watch, at least in my opinion, is going to be CMBM. This is kind of our multi-day mover here. Whatever. So I'm getting like 84 error notifications on my computer too. Great time for updates to be going on, isn't it? right when the market's opening. I'll try to push that back. So we've got a couple of strong movers this morning outside of CMBM. CMBM is up like 100% from yesterday. This was a really crazy runner yesterday. Was a big gapper, had our dip and rip, and then turned into an afternoon mover, blow off move after hours, and now we're getting really choppy. So I'm going to give you guys a little pro tip regarding day two moves. So right now what we're looking at on CMBM is what we'd call a day two move, right? Day one, we had this big gap up, big push, and now we're gapping up again for a second day. Now, I'm not going to say every day two move is going to play out the same way, but what I will say is that this is just kind of a general rule of thumb that I've learned along the way, is that day two moves, especially when they gap up, tend to be on the choppier end of things. And what I would want to see out of CMBM for me to personally take a trade on it is going to start off with a dip out of the gates, right? These generally tend to dip farther than expected, at least from what I've always expected. So, I would not be shocked to see a downtrend and then a big spike and maybe something like this, right? It could get really strong. And I mean, honestly, given the type, given how many shorts I would imagine are trapped in this, in all seriousness, I would not be surprised to see this, instead of dipping into the after hour or into the end of the day, maybe continuing higher. But this is generally what we tend to see on like a day two move. Weakness out of the open, really strong kind of late morning into midday, and then give back those gains. Trap people on both sides. Now, if we just push right out of the gates, if we just start pushing, I'm probably not going to be as tempted to look for a long, just because I would be expecting that pullback. So I would really like to see this out of the open, would be that dip first. Yeah, I like that. John B. Whitlock says, I never go long on day two gap ups unless it gives a double bottom off of day one highs. Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, for me personally, even if it doesn't make it all the way down to like 418, even if it's, bottoms between 5 and 450, I'd still be looking at that. They're tough. They're tough. The only, I think, difference in CMBM is I do think there are probably a lot of shorts trapped still. Not super confident in that, but that's going to be the only way that I do look to take a long, is going to be first that bottoming action there. Now, sorry, let me get a couple other things set up here. I feel a little bit flustered right now. Definitely a little bit flustered here. There we go. INTS, nice day one gapper here, up nearly 200%. Sub-dollar stock getting really choppy now, right? We're fake high a day, breakdown, fake high a day, new lower high, now lower low. Looks like we reverse trend here, but to be completely honest with you, I'm not really confident in this one way or the other. I like to see stocks that are holding good trends, and now this is just getting to be on that choppier end. Not short biased on it, not long biased on it. VSIG, I'll be honest with you, I really don't like it. Again, another really choppy mover. It was really choppy in after hours yesterday, and now choppy in pre-market this morning as well. So personally, not the biggest fan of this one. And other than that, I mean, we got CVU, which is making an okay little move here, right into the open. We kind of had this fake low a day break straight up to new highs. We'll see if we get anything out of that. They've got news. They're got a contract with Raytheon. We'll see. We'll see if that ends up doing anything. My main watch is definitely going to be CMBM though, for that dip. If I don't have if there's no trade setup on there, there's no trade setup on there. I'm personally not looking to like rush into a trade today. Largely because again, I'm just coming off of being sick. And I feel like it's really easy to rush back into it. And it's funny, just even 2 days off can kind of throw off the mental a little bit. So I want to at least see if this plays out to my plan. A bottom, again, I think somewhere between, if we could get a breakdown of pre-market lows around 5, but also hold over 418, 420 area. If we can hold somewhere in here and start bottoming, I'll look to take a long for that reversal. Again, though, understanding that VWAP is pretty far away. I mean, if we got all the way down to like 450, sub 450, VWAP's going to be like $2 away. That definitely is on the weaker end of things. But day twos are just weird. Day twos are not super easy trades. So keeping that in mind here. Seeing talk about Cero, C-E-R-O. I don't even see that on a gap scan anywhere. So let's see. No, no, there's a reason this thing's down 80%. Could it bounce? Maybe. These are very low odds plays in my experience. All right, CVU breaking over that pre-market high. Definitely interesting. We'll see if that provides a trade setup here. Again, we'll see if that, first of all, the big thing here is when we get a later gapper. So this didn't start gapping till 9 a.m. Is this going to be a fake out move through that high a day area? Is this just, there's just not much of a trend established yet. So I think a little bit of patience on this is important for me as well. Again, the more patience, the better. I know everyone loves to, try to slam right out of the market open. For me, that generally isn't the easiest trading. I will say definitely a nice strong move though, through that pre-market high. Generally, if we see a failure on these, it tends to be pretty quick. So we'll give it a couple of minutes here. And if that's holding up over that pre-market high, which by the way is $4.15, if we're holding over that, you could definitely see this turning into a nice long. CMBN, rough here. Not really much of a trade yet. Again, very choppy. Breaking over that opening high, right back down to lows. Trying to hold, but yeah, CVU, I think, will probably be that main focus just for a few minutes while CMBM tries to play out what it's doing. Make this thing full screen here. CVU so far feels to be on the weaker end of things. We're trying to push. Don't want to doubt it too much yet. Again, we're still holding well above kind of our trend line here. Let's take some of these off, shall we? There we go. 11010110110 said some of the big names had lackluster earnings. Maybe money will cycle into small caps. Well, yeah, and I mean on top of that, right? We've kind of got everyone wanting the next MBM as well. So I'm sure one of these, I doubt it'll be VSIG, to be completely honest with you, but I'm sure one of these will try to make a really powerful move. One thing I will note is that CVU on a lot of brokers is easy to borrow. And so that can lead to a lot of shorts piling in. It can lead to a lot of shorts piling into a stock. Everyone can short it. Everyone and their mother can short it. And it's not always the best indicator, but it's certainly something to keep in mind. It's also, they're soaking the bid on this pretty well. So every time we dip into the 410s, it seems to instantly reclaim. This is a pretty important wick here, I think, right? We just tried to break down to 4, couldn't break down, and we went right back to highs. Yeah, I'm just trying to analyze things, talk out loud, so that if anything does come out of this, I at least have that in my memory here. What in the world is EBS? This is weird. Yeah, I'm going to take that one off. Not one that I care to watch. Yeah, I mean, this is holding pretty well. I'd say over 438, like into the 440s. Because right now, this feels like a fake high a day break, kind of over that fake pre-market high break. But the longer we hold up here, the less fake it becomes. Over that 438, I think there's probably a justification for an attempt. I doubt I'll take it. Again, just for what I was mentioning here, it's not a super high odds trade for me. Under 4, I think we're probably starting to prove that thesis of it being a fake pre-market high break. But over that 438, I think we're pretty strong. Volume is really strong too, by the way. Volume is definitely holding up here. It's got good news. I feel like I should probably try to avoid getting overconfident in any particular trade right now. Just again, for the sole purpose that I've been sick here for the last couple of days, and I feel like I've missed out on some trades, but really strong move there. I think this is definitely turning into a potential. I would like to see some more consolidation personally. If I'm actually going to take a trade on this, like a true trend setting up, a real higher low. I generally like to look for these kind of patterns right here, like a triangle, a consolidation, a wedge, versus just kind of buying right into strength here. Although so far it's proven to be okay. Had someone just bought that 438 breakout. Other than that, we don't really have a whole lot of movement anywhere. ARBB was interesting after hours yesterday. I don't know if they're trying to do anything with this here. This is a weird one. This is a weird one for sure. Right, but this is kind of the pattern that I like to look for. That wedge forming. That's what I'd like to see forming on CVU if I'm going to take a trade. CMBM got that fake breakdown there. I'm not convicted enough in a buy. CVU definitely feeling to be on the weaker end of things here. That's I'm not loving that. Again, this is why I would rather stay patient, especially on a setup like this. Yeah, that's looking pretty weak. That's looking pretty weak at this point. We're breaking that uptrend that we were forming here too. Especially considering, and so again, I'm just kind of talking through what I see on this, right? So we had this 438 fake high break, and that's where I was saying could be a really good long spot, should have some shorts trapped. But but when we break out, and we've talked about this concept before, when we break out over the fake breakout level, that should be really explosive. And the fact that it isn't, the fact that it didn't end up getting much juice there, to me, turns that into a very bearish trade. And now we're starting to break the uptrend, starting to break under VWAP. Not to say that this couldn't end up being a good trade with more time to set up, but so far it's showing me a lot of signs of weakness, a lot more signs of weakness than signs of strength anyways. That's also our biggest volume candle of the day there, that 450 reject. I mean, that's a lot of volume on that. It's 2.4 million shares roughly. We just tapped 360s. Yeah, not loving it. Not loving it. Let's what do we have here? EDHL. This is lower volume so far. Oh, nope. It was a mover yesterday though. Again, there are probably some movers here that I'm from yesterday that I just didn't see because I wasn't in front of my screen. ARBB, I'm going to get rid of that. VSIG, trash. INTS, trash. CMBM, again, I'm holding faith in this, but once again, right? Choppy. Fake low a day break, now a fake high a day break. Are we just going to go back down to low a day? The day two moves are just choppy. No other way to put it. They're just choppy moves. CVU, let's see if we hold here. I mean, that could very well be a fake low break. I think this is a fake wick here. I don't think we actually made it up to 420s. Looks like we made it to roughly 405. This is interesting. This is getting interesting. If we break out over 450, now, again, the risk is incredibly wide in a scenario like that. Would be very wide. But something to keep note of. If we can break back over, now we've got a really strong bull case, at least for a scalp. Easy to borrow stock on a lot of brokers. Good news. I'm not going to sit here and say it's great news. I haven't read through the details of that PR, but good news, seemingly. Fake VWAP breakdown, fake trend breakdown, fake support breakdown. And then we'd be breaking out over the highest volume candle of the day. That could very well lead to a pretty big short squeeze. But there's a lot of ifs there. We're still 50 cents away from that area. So a lot of ifs. So why patience is a virtue, right? Again, more likely than not, this is still leaning bearish. But we start consolidating, start setting up a series of higher lows, start holding above this trend line, holding above VWAP, we could have something on our hands. CMBM, still lots of chop. Now, if we break down under this low here, right, it's kind of the same idea. We're breaking down the fake breakdown. That's where we'll probably tend to see the real flush. Because this is now going to be the area that anybody who's getting long this is probably going to risk. Anyone who's getting long on this VWAP break, they're probably going to be risking this 365 level. I would imagine that's where I would be risking. So again, patience. We'll wait and see. I don't see anything new popping up on scans. Lot of range on this one. Lot of range. But holding well. Big wick there. Very nice wick. Very strong wick. Speaking of wick, I saw Wick Tickler had a nice comment in here. I forgot to read it. I'll have to go through and find that in just a second. I do want to keep eyes on this for just a moment. But I did see Wick Tickler had a good one in there. As always. This is a strong wick. This is nice. Yeah, that's strong. Also, looks like I've got some friends talking about this one. Some good traders. They like the news, so that's reassuring. Unless this sets up better, cleaner, I probably won't long on this right away. I'd like to see that 450 break first, but this is looking strong. This is a way stronger recovery than I would have expected. 450 is that key area for me right now. All right, I'm getting ready. 450 is coming up quick. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on. We're close. We're close. All right, I just took a long there at 448 is where I got filled a little bit early. We just broke out over it. Come on. There we go. Come on. Give us 5. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Give us 5. Give us 5. Oh, if that's just another fake out. Come on. Oh, you dirty dog. Don't do this. Come on. It's a lot of volume coming in here. It is a lot of volume coming in. Come on. This should be a pretty key level. They're selling a lot at 450, though. It's a lot of selling at 450. Come on. Come on. I don't like how much selling there is here. Be patient. Unfortunately, my risk is quite wide. It's down to 375. Like, there's no other real risk level there. That is our low that was set before this move. We triple bottomed there on 3 minutes there. We did 3 different bottoms. But this is the area. This is the area that I'm going to look for. I would like to treat this as a scalp, but I mean, again, there's so much selling. So much selling at 450, which does sketch me out a little bit. But again, my theory here is that people want the next CMBM. People want there to be the next CMBM. This had a really nice trap candle here. Good news. Easy to borrow stock on a lot of brokers, so everyone and their mother can short it. It's just the one thing that's sketching me out is how much selling there is up here. I feel like that breakout candle should have been a lot stronger than it was, especially given how much volume there was. I don't love that. I don't love that. But again, I'm going to try to just let the trade play out here. Got my risk level. Perhaps you're just trapping a lot of shorts. Perhaps it needs to do this in order to really run. I feel like at this point we should be holding over 4 at the very least. Yeah, that's annoying. Just a patience game here, though. Let's also create our new trend line here. It's kind of what I'm seeing as our new trend. Man, that's feeling weak. But risk for me is still that 375. I'm definitely feeling less confident in this one. That's a bummer. That should have been a really clean breakout. How are the quants doing, by the way? Well, CMBM breaking through VWAP here, by the way. Just something interesting to note. We bottomed down at that 540 level, spiked up to 640. Nice little dollar a share spike. VSIG, I think I had to take that one off my screen. INTS, interesting. This is setting up a nice little trend here. Where's VWAP at? Oh, we held VWAP well. That's definitely something to keep an eye on. That's a nice little trend we got forming. Breaking out of that trend right now. Good volume, very strong volume. 400 million shares traded already. Come on, CVU. Come on. It's defending 4 all right. Gotta hold VWAP here. Now, the other thing to consider is if we break under this previous low here around 390, we do start officially breaking under that new downtrend that or that uptrend rather that we formed. We're breaking trend at that point. In fact, I'll probably cut under 390 at this point for that reason. Because at that point, we've just kind of created our next series lower high, breaking into our lower low. Yeah, I cut there. That's a bummer. Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. It's confident enough in that setup to try it, but I'll be right back, by the way. Give me just a second. I had to hit the bathroom. How do I turn my Be right back. All right. I'm not a buyer with that drop. No, I mean, because here's the problem, at least in my eyes, right? We just had a pretty aggressive fake high a day breakout. Like that is our highest volume candle of the day by far. On that fake high day breakout, an area where it should have been really bullish, we ended up potentially trapping the most amount of people, right? So yeah, I mean, like for me, and now we're breaking down to new lows. Once again, we're trying to, anyways. We 365. We just tapped our 365 bottom there, so we're trying to double bottom there, but we have too many bearish factors going into this now. I like to gauge a trade based on, so I call these confirmation variables, or I guess in this case, well, yeah, they confirm a thesis, even though I'm no longer long. It's confirming the idea that I shouldn't be long anymore. So number one, right, I was kind of mentioning this earlier, in that a lot of these stocks that gap up later in pre-market, they just don't have enough time to really establish support and resistance. So in this case, we've got, but let's pretend the market hasn't opened yet, right? So here's what I see. First of all, we've got a stock with good news, okay? And we have a fake breakdown in the low there. We have that fake low break. Okay, so we've got, so far, two kind of confirmation variables that this could be a good long. Fake breakdown that leads to a big squeeze, and we've got a stock with good news. But in the same breath, that news came pretty late in pre-market. So we didn't really have a lot of time to establish and build into new support. Or build support, build resistance. So for me, that's a little bit bearish. Next, we instantly break out. As soon as the market opens, we break out over that pre-market high. I know that sounds bullish, but generally based on what I've seen as a trader, I find this to actually generally be a little bit more bearish. It should set up and allow more shorts to get trapped. That's just what I've seen. So again, to me, that's a little bit bearish. Then we have what we have. We have this fake high, or we have this 438 kind of fake breakout, and then a big wick back, and it instantly reclaims. At first, that seems bullish until we get this massive slam candle. We break out over the fake breakout only to slam to new lows. A little bit bearish. Now we start recovering. Okay, so right now I've got like two bearish confirmation variables, two bullish confirmation variables. So when we start breaking back over here, again, we're breaking out of the fake breakout. That is a really strong factor normally, until we just instantly fail it. Then what we end up getting is our biggest volume candle of the day is now a fake high a day breakout. Now that factor alone is probably the most bearish factor that we've got so far, right? And so now at this point, and now, by the way, on top of that, so we've got massive bearish confirmation here, right? Biggest breakout, biggest volume candle is a fake breakout candle. Start breaking down under VWAP, start breaking down over our uptrend, and now we're back down to our lows. So now we've got a lot of, if we officially break under this 365 low, I would find it very hard for this stock to come back. Not impossible. Not impossible. Nothing's impossible. That's one thing I've learned as a trader. Nothing is impossible in the market. But we've just got too many bearish factors stacked up at that point for me to really be bullish on this unless a massive piece of information changes, unless we get a massive change in the structure of the trade. It's just too bearish for me. So I try to look at every trade like this. I try to find different factors that build a thesis into that trade. I call them confirmation variables because they should theoretically confirm the thesis of that. Now we just broke down into the 350s. To me, this trade is probably a goner. And as we're seeing, that range is really starting to expand. And again, that's largely because we've just, and so that's why, this is just a little pro tip. This is why those types of outlooks on the market can be really important, because they can also help you time your entries really well. For example, right, a really beautiful area to short this. And I don't love, which I did do, funny enough. So I say this, I don't love buying breakouts. I don't love shorting breakdowns, but sometimes it works really well. Buying this breakout to me was an exception to my rule, because it should have gotten really explosive through there. In the same breath, shorting that breakdown of 365, well, it got really explosive there because earlier that was our fake breakdown. Now we're breaking down the fake breakdown. So the same logic that I used to long this breakout actually ended up working really well on this breakdown, because you just had so many longs trapped in this it ended up working just fine. So again, things to note, they can help you when you start really looking at the market that way. It can be a really effective way to help you time your entries and also avoid bad stocks or stop out at the right areas. I ended up stopping out of this earlier than expected. Originally, I was going to risk that 375, but once we got so weak, it just didn't really make sense for me anyways to hold that long. Yeah, I'm seeing you guys like that explanation, of course. We actually, by the way, guys, I know some of you guys are in the daily income trader system. This is a concept we go over all the time. For those of you guys that are in DIT, I do, just to remind you guys, this isn't even a plug other than just like letting you know I go live every day in DIT at 10:30 Eastern time. That's where I go after this webinar. We go over this kind of structure just about every single day. So if you do like that, if you're in DIT, we're going over this day in and day out, because this is largely how I view my trades. This is how I, basically how I trade, is by using these factors to help build that thesis. We're breaking down even farther now, which, unfortunately now that leaves me kind of without a trade for the moment. INTS was actually really nice, that 75-cent level. We're only up 10 cents. This is a little bit too choppy for me to really be all in for a trade. Again, we're still under pre-market highs, but as I told you, right? Generally speaking, an instant breakout of pre-market highs is not my favorite thing to look for as a long. And we didn't get that here. Instead, we got that dip out of the gates. And I know that's counterintuitive. We want strength, but what we really want more than anything is to trap as many shorts as humanly possible. The more shorts we can trap, the better. Because what that allows us to have then is a really strong conviction that this trade should have follow through. And I mean, literally inverse to what we just got on CVU, where all we did was trap longs. Now our follow through is coming to the downside because we've trapped so many longs. And now anyone who's trying to dip by this saying, oh, but it's got really good news. It's got really good news, guys. This is definitely a buy on the dip. Well, now they just have to keep selling and selling aggressively for a loss. And this is why we tend to see these types of stocks not bounce. Did I short CVU at 364? I did take a small short on this. Now, unfortunately, it's not really breaking. I mean, it's breaking down well, but we're starting to find some support here. Yeah, I love that. Love that. 10010. Not even trolling me today. What's going on? I need the trolling. I need the trolling. It fuels me. The trolls fuel me. Call me Tim Sykes. For those of you guys that know Tim, he loves, listen, I don't care what he says. He loves the Twitter trolls. But 10010101010101010. So all the stuff about traps has really helped me be patient and wait for further confirmation. Love that. Cal said, okay, I learned a lot regarding mornings. And I had the same view that it needs to dip a lot more before. Really goes to the open. You confirm my theory. Thank you. Of course. Yeah. Again, always don't just blindly trust me. And, some of what I say here is just based on the way that I trade. But I think these are factors that can help any trader for sure. Real Jim Smith said, what is DIT? DIT is the daily income trader system. So basically, for those of you guys that don't know, I'm on Stocks to Trade right now. Basically, it's just so Stocks to Trade, and this is actually probably a good opportunity for me to also talk about TradeFunder here in just a second. But Stocks to Trade and TradeFunder have partnered up here. So I am on Stocks to Trade's YouTube channel / Facebook channel / Twitter channel, wherever you're watching. Stocks to Trade is a trading education company and financial tech company. So this platform that you're looking at right now is Stocks to Trade. For example, I've got my chat room in here. This is where I'll be going live in about 20 minutes. I've got our breaking news chat, of course, but we've also got our small cap rockets. I was telling them about my food poisoning. Basomatic said, did I have Denver sushi? I had something worse. I had a non-alcoholic beer that was not properly sealed. I told myself the second that I drank it, if I get sick, this is why. I got sick. That was absolutely why. But anyways, so we got our chat room in here. This is where I go live. That's supposed to say 10:30, but yeah, so we've got our chat room in here. We've got Oracle. This is helping kind of newer traders. So if I open up Oracle here, these are Oracle's trades. It's a trading algorithm that's meant to help you with stock selection. So right now, one of our strongest trades here of this morning is actually Glee. This is actually kind of interesting. I was watching Glee yesterday. Glee is looking to be one of our strongest stocks on Oracle. Let's actually take a look at that. So I've got my own process. Oracle, I think, is great for newer traders who need those training wheels in terms of finding stock selection. But I mean, this is a nice move so far. Can't deny that. It listed its entry here at 80 cents a share. Was it 80? Yeah, 80 cents a share here on Oracle. Already up about 10%. So really nice trade signal there. And that is our strongest stock on Oracle of the morning so far. So anyways, though, I'm going over all this because as a part of the daily income trader, you get Oracle. You also get access to my training, as well as Caleb Hurst, Matt Monaco, and Tim Bowen. But TradeFunder is partnered with Stocks to Trade because of our trading education. It's a really great partnership, honestly. For those of you guys that don't know about TradeFunder, it's a fully funded trading account. It's like a prop firm that allows you to get access to $25,000 worth of trading capital. Let me switch on over. So yeah, they partnered with us for that reason, just because we've been providing trading education to traders since I think 2014 or 2015. I don't remember the exact year, but about 10 years now, if not slightly over. And we've had a really great community of traders that have actually come up through Stocks to Trade. I'm one of them. Matt Monaco is one of them. We've each made over $1 million trading, which is sweet. And so we like to be, I mean, for me, this is to get to do this with you guys and kind of walk you through my process. It's pretty fun. I get to show you guys the way that I trade, and also it doesn't really affect the way I trade. So it's nice to be able to do it. I can still focus on my trades. If you hear me going quiet during a time, it's probably because I'm focused on a trade, and then I'll walk through and explain that. Usually I try to explain my thought process before or leading into that trade. But anyways, I'm going off topic here. CVU still, we'll see. Now, again, in terms of fake breakouts, we might be looking at this fake trend break here as well. Probably, honestly, a justification to add short through that 330 breakdown with a new risk on like whatever high this sets here. But anyways, going back to TradeFunder for just a second, it's that fully funded trading account, which I'll actually walk you over to here really quick. How can I switch my screen share? I say this just about every day because I'm not the best with technology. There we are. So again, TradeFunder, it's a fully funded trading account. They've partnered with Stocks to Trade because they're looking for traders who are really looking to become profitable or working hard to become profitable. Maybe you're already profitable, you just have a small account and you need a bigger account in order to take the trades properly that you would like to take, whatever that case might be. Basically, I'm actually going to drop this link in the chat here right now. All right. So I've just dropped that link right in the chat there for you. That's going to be that access to this discount code, which I haven't even gone over yet. But normally, if you go over to TradeFunder's website and try to get access to this just through them, not using my link, it's $1,400 for access to this $25,000 account with $100,000 in margin and buying power. But with our discount, it's $600 off. So you'll be getting access to that account for $800 plus a $99 platform fee. Now, again, what TradeFunder really is looking for here is not the trader that wants to just hit a home run and have a big cash out. They're looking for consistent traders who are serious about wanting to do this as a job, be a consistently profitable trader. Because TradeFunder makes money when you make money, as does any prop firm. That's kind of, for letting you use their money, they're going to take a profit split. TradeFunder's got one of the best profit splits I've personally seen among the prop community. Generally, a lot of prop firms will go with like a 60-40 or a 70-30 split, meaning you keep either 60 or 70%, they keep 30 or 40%. However, with TradeFunder, they're really betting on you. They're doing an 80-20 profit split, which is honestly incredible. So glad to be able to help traders in that sense too, get access to not only a fully funded trading account, but also a really great profit split. Meaning if you make 10 grand with TradeFunder, you're keeping $8,000 of it. And as you prove consistency, as you prove profitability, they're actually going to reach out to you and ask if you want access to an even bigger trading account. Ideally, so that you can make more money. They're looking for traders that eventually want to build up to like $1 million plus accounts with them. Because if all of a sudden you start having $100,000, $200,000 days or weeks, even, that's like 80 to 100, $20,000 to $40,000 for them and hundreds of thousands of dollars for you. Now, that's not how it's going to be right out of the gates. I'll be completely honest. Unless you're already a rock star trader and you just want access to more money and you are already crushing it, which I know some of you might be. I'm not going to sit here and say that you're not. But I know a lot of traders who are just getting started. It's going to start with the small days. It's going to start with consistency day in and day out. That's personally how I got started trading. And now it's really cool to be able to pull out thousands or tens of thousands of dollars from the market, depending on the setup. Some of my friends that I trade with, they're absolute rock stars. They're pulling in tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. And some of my very select group of friends, they're pulling in millions of dollars per day on the right setups. And so this is what's really cool to me about TradeFunder is that for those of you guys who might only have a smaller account, for those of you guys who might be on the right track, but you need access to a little bit more capital, or you need to detach that emotional risk from your trading. That is like, for me, that was one of the biggest things when I first learned to become consistently profitable, is that I had to like detach myself from the money a little bit. Because when you go into a trade and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I just lost my mortgage today. That's no way to trade profitably. That's no way to trade consistently. You got to be able to detach yourself from it. And when it's not your money, it makes it a lot easier to just take a trade for the sake of the trade. I say this all the time. I see a lot of traders who crush it when they're paper trading, but then when they go to real money, they struggle because all of a sudden it's like their hard-earned money. Well, TradeFunder, you put a little bit of money in, you're putting in $800, but you're getting access to $25,000 worth of capital. So the way that I would personally do this, if I were a brand new trader using TradeFunder, is that I'd look to make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, pull out my 800 and make that as risk-free an investment as I possibly could. Now I'm literally just playing with the house's money. And to me, at that point, the sky's the limit. So again, TradeFunder has got some risk management rules in place here, largely because they're letting you use a bunch of money. And they're not going to let you lose all $25,000 of their money for only putting in $800. I think that's more than fair. Would you give your friend 25 grand? They give you 800 bucks. They give you 25. You give them 25 grand and you're like, don't worry. You can lose it all. No, you're going to cut them off at some point. For them, for TradeFunder, that cutoff number is $3,750. So they're basically betting $3,000 on you to do this right. And so I get this all the time. Bryce, what if I blow up my first TradeFunder account? Do I get another attempt with them? The answer is yes, to an extent. They're not just going to continuously let you keep losing money. If you just keep blowing up, they're going to eventually say, you're done, right? But they understand that mistakes happen. They understand that you're not going to be perfect out of your first attempt, that some of you won't anyways. And so they're going to give you a couple attempts here with this discounted code, $800 plus that $99 platform fee. Risk management, it's the number one reason that traders lose, to be completely honest with you. So the fact that they're actually forcing risk management on you, I think is probably one of the best things that you can have for your trading. I know some of you are like, shut up, I don't want to manage risk. I just want to make a lot of money. But the truth is, I don't know a single trader that has only gone for home runs and become consistently profitable. Most of those traders blow up in the trading space. And statistically, we call this risk of ruin, I guess. So you want to keep yourself to a spot where you're trying to go for that consistency. You don't need to go balls to the walls. You don't need to go $25,000 into every trade that you take. Maybe right now you've got a $2,000 or $3,000 account, and being able to take a $6,000 or $7,000 position would be hugely beneficial to you, right? Where you can risk like $100 or $200 on the trade. And then if it works, you're making a couple hundred, maybe a couple of $1,000s, right? Let's see. What's CMBM doing? It's just grinding upwards, right? But I mean, even here, right? This is a really great example though. CMBM, we bottomed out at 550 for that support. We're back up to 650 now. Had a trader taken 1,000 shares at 550, risking 520, well, that's $300 worth of risk for now up to $1,000 worth of reward, which certainly could go higher. But if you're trading with a smaller $2,000 account, unfortunately, you're only able to take like a couple of hundred shares of that. So this is why I think TradeFunder really can be a great opportunity. I'm not going to sit here and call it a perfect solution. I don't think anything is perfect unless, you are an AI god and you found the perfect trading system that doesn't exist. But I think it is a really amazing solution for those of you guys who are working with smaller accounts, for those of you who do feel a little bit too emotionally tied to your capital. I think this could be a really great solution for you guys to at least check out. So what I'd encourage you to do is go ahead here and click on that link and see if this is the right fit for you. Yeah, and I do see, yep, there's commission with TradeFunder. There's commission with just about any broker. So I personally use TradeFunder and about 2 other brokers, all of which have commissions. It's part of the game when you're working with, a real broker, a good broker. I've seen traders say you get access or you get instant fills on TradeFunder, which feels weird if you're coming from a commission-free broker. And yeah, it's because you're getting access to the best fills using real trading tools. But this is actually why, I don't tend to trade like sub 50-cent stocks very often, because on any broker I use personally, I have to pay commissions. And so unless that trade setup is like A+++, or I know I'm going to make like 10 to 20 cents on that stock, I tend to avoid them. Also, another reason there for me personally, I use 3 brokers. Maybe you use a commission-free broker for cheaper stocks. Maybe that's your $2,000 or $3,000 account. Then maybe TradeFunder is meant for your bigger stocks, your $1+ stocks. Well, that commission doesn't really matter because you're just not buying 50,000 shares of that stock. Bryce, what's your biggest green day ever and biggest red day ever? My biggest green day is about $51,000. My biggest red day is about 14,000, 12 or 14,000. I have to go back and look. It's under 15. But I don't remember. I took a $14,000 loss, and I think that was my biggest red day. I don't think I took a trade after that day. That was my only trade of the day. Yeah, that's what I mean, though. The upside, the sky really is the limit. And I think with TradeFunder, it is a potentially unlimited upside potential for those of you guys that are looking to truly grow. I don't know what you're saying here. Why don't I trade with the TradeFunder system while hearing? Yeah, I don't know what you mean there, Larry. I do trade with TradeFunder. But while hearing, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I use TradeFunder alongside 2 other brokers, and it really depends on what my setup is, right? If I'm going for a really aggressive long, that's when I'm using TradeFunder. Because they're really phenomenal for long trades. You can short with TradeFunder. The stock just has to be easy to borrow. I'm not sure if CVU was easy to borrow on TradeFunder. What platform am I using in this channel? I'm literally using the Stocks to Trade charting platform. Again, they've partnered with Stocks to Trade. I love Stocks to Trade for charting and for my scans. So yeah, I'm on Stocks to Trade right there. Does TradeFunder take 20% out of each individual successful trade or 20% out of your overall profit of winning and losing trades? Yeah, so when you go to cash out of TradeFunder, that's when they're going to take that 20%. CVU is shortable on TradeFunder. Bro, I missed CMBM. It's up in the 660s. Yeah, I mean, for me, it just didn't really dip quite enough. To me, again, this is a little bit too choppy for me to be buying strength on. That wasn't really my plan here. There's 3 different platforms. Which one is the one that you're using? Yeah, so the TradeFunder, I just use the web version. I'm pretty basic. I don't use the mobile version. Oh, I've heard it's good. I just don't really like trading on my phone. So I use the web version with TradeFunder. I think it's phenomenal. If you've ever used Thinkorswim before, it's a lot like that. The charts are very similar to TradingView, and the execution is a lot like Thinkorswim. Really simple, really easy. So anyways, guys, at the very least, I'd encourage you to click on that link, check it out. Again, right there in the chat. I've dropped it one last time for you. You can also click on the link, or you could rather type in that banner that I've dropped in the chat. If you'd rather type it out, if you're on Twitter, you're going to need to go over to YouTube or Facebook to actually click on the link itself. But yeah, guys, I'm going to get hopping off here. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Glad I'm finally out of that food poisoning stint that I went through. That sucked. But I'm healthy. I literally just came off of a cold too. That was the worst part. I had a cold for like a week and a half, got healthy, and then instantly got food poisoning. So that was no fun. But we're back healthy, ready to go, ready to crush it. So I hope you guys are all having a great day. Click on that link, check out and see if TradeFunder is right for you. The only way that you'll be able to find that out is by clicking the link and going over there. So everybody, I will talk to you later. And I hope you guys are all having a great day. Peace, everybody. Bye.